Kia ora team, and welcome to episode 18 of Yarns with Beef and Matt, powered by LSKD. I'm Beef.
I'm Matt.
And today we have a multiple games athlete and another homegrown hero, Madeline Shelling. How are you, mate?
Oh, kia ora, guys. That's a lovely intro. Very good. Thank you.
How good. How are you, mate? How's your morning been?
Not bad. Just in at work. I'm a
Yep.
working girl now, so yeah, it's good.
How
Good.
good. Yeah. We
Not,
were
not
gonna.
very good bit of hair church, but yeah.
Yeah. No worries. We were gonna get into that, but like are you still studying your PhD, or you passed it now, or like what's the goes there?
I've submitted it, so it's done, but I'm yet to be examined. So I'm not officially a doctor yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the next month they will examine me, and then I'll pass, and then everyone has to call me Dr. Madeline forever.
Oh, good. And can you expand more on what you were studying there? Like, yeah, what the actual PhD is in?
Yeah, so I did my undergrad in geography and my honors in kind of geography, human geography, development studies, and then I got really into food security. So food security is kind of like food poverty, food deprivation, and just looking at our kind of our systems, economic, environmental, social, health systems, and how they create or don't create food security. And so I was kind of looking at that from a Māori perspective and looking at how our nation's history, a lot of it is to do with colonization, how that affects our food system today. So like in New Zealand, we have a really capitalist food system, and that doesn't often work with Māori worldviews, Māori food systems. And so I was just kind of looking at the differences and how we can create a more equitable food system in Aotearoa.
Oh, nice.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
I could go on and on and on, but I'll try not to.
No, that sounds good. I'm genuinely interested in all that kind of stuff. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
But the way we do like to start these podcasts is obviously you're a high performing athlete, doing incredible things. Like we said, been to the games twice on the team. Before CrossFit, the younger Madeline Shelling, what was she doing growing up?
I did everything I possibly could. Yeah, ever since I was very young. Both my parents are very sporty. Dad is a runner, and so he convinced me into thinking that exercise was fun. So I just would go home from school and then just pretty much do exercise and think that I was having a great time, and I did, genuinely did. So awesome. Got into all sorts of sports. I think at high school I played soccer, netball, touch, sevens. We did waka ama, dragon boat. I went to I did swimming, athletics. Like we were in a really small rural school, so we were able to do anything we wanted to, and they supported us with that. Like we would do the school badminton tournaments, tennis tournaments, like every water polo. Like I got a full spread. So that kind of like range of experiences really all fed into CrossFit. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, where along your journey did you find CrossFit, and how did that come about? Was it right at the
when I
beginning?
went to uni, I decided to pick up rugby union, and then after a couple of years of that, I realized that I was too small and too much of a wimp to play rugby. And because I had for some reason turned up into this rugby team that was really, really good, and I was like, wow, we just keep winning. And then I realized that about 6 of the girls on my team were actually black ferns.
Really?
And I was like, oh, that's why I keep getting like pummeled in trainings. But I really loved the preseason. The preseason trainings, and the parts of trainings I loved the most was just like the fitness and the drills and stuff. And then I realized that all that preseason training was actually a sport called CrossFit. And I was like, now that sounds like a bit of me. I got into it, and actually next year is going to be my 10th year since I started CrossFit. So I can't believe it's been a decade, but it has.
It's so funny how many people jump into a team sport and then it's like strength and conditioning through CrossFit, and then they're like, actually,
we had Ben Fowler and he was the same. You wouldn't know that, obviously.
No, he came from rugby too. We had a prop that was like over 100 kilos, and there was one time I just got flattened by her in tackle training, and I was like, you know what,
I'm done.
Not for me.
I'm done.
Oh, awesome. It's good to know that. It's good that you say that. You're out there playing rugby. We had Brianna Clark on from the Broncos. Yeah. So
Cool.
how was that experience playing? This is definitely off topic, but yeah, playing in a male-dominated sport, being a woman. Yeah. How'd you find that experience?
I didn't really feel that at all because
Yeah.
I was playing college rifles and they were just so pro
Oh, that's in
women
Auckland,
in
isn't it?
sport. Like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was when I was
Yes.
living.
Oh,
I've
cool.
only been in Christchurch for like 3 years. So,
Oh, right. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I don't know. I've never really felt that. Like I've never, like high school, we were always really well supported to play whatever we wanted. Like in, I think it was our seventh form, we just went to our PE teacher and we're like, hey, we want to start a sevens team. And he's like, oh, I don't know if there's enough girls, but we just rallied around, found the girls, and then played a few tournaments. So I've never really found any barriers to being a woman
Awesome.
playing a male dominated sport. And then you find CrossFit and most people are more interested in watching the females than the males. Well, I am anyway. So yeah, no, not really seeing any.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
that's
know.
good. I
We
always
just
found with CrossFit that there was never, I don't think there is a barrier at all. Yeah.
no.
So no, that's good. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Anyway, that was a bit off topic.
It is good to hear though, because when we did chat with Bree, there was definitely that sort of divide, sort of like looking down on the females, and there's heaps of room for growth there, 100%. Maybe it's a country thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be. I don't know. Maybe it's worse over in Aussie. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely room for growth. Like like the Black Ferns that won our in my rifles team. That makes me sound like I was really good. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was just
I'm sure you were. I'm
Claim
sure you were
it.
good.
Yeah, yeah, a winger that avoided tackling at all costs.
Sounds like my career.
Yeah, we the girls will obviously like All Blacks get 7 grand a week to be All Blacks, and these girls were barely even getting paid. They had full-time jobs. So imagine if you were higher up in rugby, it would be incredibly frustrating. But the level I was at, then I didn't really. I wasn't putting enough time into it that I was expecting to be paid or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Shit, it's gone again.
Oh my god.
You go. I'm bad at that.
Yeah, so obviously, you came onto our radar because you are a high-performing CrossFit Games athlete, and we love supporting the hometown heroes. So you did manage to make it all the way to the Games multiple times on a team. How have the Games experiences been for you?
Yeah, amazing. You cannot put it into words. It's just phenomenal to see people that you've been idolizing, the CrossFit celebrities for years, and then all of a sudden they're in the lane next to like Rich was right next to us and he was like cracking jokes and we were like, you're so funny, Rich.
So
we play it cool and trying to like not be too much of a fangirl, but it's pretty amazing. Like, just this. Like I remember one of the moments that really stands out for me was the first event. The first time we went to the Games was Marnie and I, amongst all the girls in our togs, because we're about to do the swimming thing, and it was just like this sea of jacked women, and it was incredible. I was like, man, this is so awesome. This is some of the fittest people in the whole world, and I don't know. I was just so impressed with what we can do, like it was just cool. Like 2 Kiwis in amongst this like sea of strong women. It was I can't put it into
it was cool to see the Kiwis back there. Like I think you could probably fact check me on this, but you would have been the first team back since Zach's pack. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Yeah, the first entirely Kiwi team anyway. Yeah.
So it's cool to see you guys back there, and then you went back to back years, but on a different team. So how was the experience there? Going from one gym to the other.
Well, without going into too much detail, our first year didn't quite meet our expectations in terms of how we were treated this is for Marnie and I, in terms of being on the team. And so it was kind of like, it was amazing going there for the first time, but it was tainted with being bullied, should I say. But the second year was with the Fowlers, was incredible with the shed. It was just really like healed that journey for us. made us feel like we just had so much fun the whole time. Like we had a few weeks in Chicago beforehand. We just had so much fun every day.
How good.
And it was a great time. Like Luke and Ben were, they're a whole lot younger than us. And we had Bailey there as well, who's a lot younger, and they were just so much fun. So we just had a fantastic time. So yeah, it was great. And then obviously the second year, I think the competition was a lot harder, because everyone around the world had more time to kind of like get their act together and get this kind of super teams together. So it was definitely a harder competition, and I felt like all four of us really like rose to the occasion. So the second year was definitely way more satisfying.
Yeah. That second year was stacked. Like Oslo Blue coming through, Reykjavik with their super team, and then Richard's last year. You know, it was a pretty special year on the team side, for sure. I don't want to, you don't have to go into this at all, but you said there you were getting bullied. Do you want to go into that at all? We don't have to.
Well, it depends if you want to cut it from your podcast or not.
Man,
but
we cut nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that environment is really, really important. And that first year just did not have a good environment. And just shit went down. It just wasn't a nice space for us. And then it ended really badly, which is a real shame. But that happens in sport when people get egos and think that they can control other people, and it was just a shit time, really. And it's a real shame. We never ended up like speaking our truth on social media because we wanted to remain professional. But yeah, pretty much everything that happened was not very professional at all, and we were treated really, really badly, which is a real shame. But we're in a much better place now. Moving to the shed was the best thing ever, and we got into this really like supportive space, and Linda and Pete are like real life angels.
Awesome
and
people.
They just said to us like, hey, you're in a safe space now, and we already know that you put enough pressure on yourselves, so we're not going to put any more on top of you, which was not what we had before. And they just supported us no matter what and loved us, and that's what we that is what a real environment, what real gym should be, rather than pressure and bullying and all sorts of shit.
It's true in any sport, really. Like you look at all the best teams around the world, it's the culture built within the club. The athletes there are already professional athletes. Like the All Black, you're not going to the All Blacks and getting taught how to pass a ball. You know what I mean? So it's like you know how to play rugby. Okay, you put your system together, but it's all about the culture, because you'll get the most out of people if you treat them nicely. You know, and I think that gets a loss along the way. And CrossFit is a new sport, and I guess we don't hear too much about that kind of things. But going on to Linda and that sort of environment, you just have to talk to them briefly. Like I asked Ben, I said, "Man, what's the shed got that's so special?" Because you've got all these high performing athletes coming out, and he's like, "Oh, I don't actually know." And I think that's the beauty of it, is that you're not actually trying to create an environment. It's just an environment that's being created through having good people there.
Yeah. We spent one weekend with Pete and Linda. Yeah, they're incredible people. Awesome to finally meet them. But going back to your second year with Selwyn, we definitely could see and feel the vibe and the chemistry between you guys. Like just living through your socials, I remember Bailey putting up a heap of content. Just looked like you guys were having such a good time, and I think that just shows in your end result too. I messed it up with Ben, 7th overall.
No,
sixth, I believe.
He messed up again.
I've messed it up again.
I'm trying to let him do more CrossFit stuff. He's new to it. He keeps stuffing it up.
But phenomenal from you guys, and it was really cool to watch from back home. So it was sick.
Hard up. Going on from that. This year you went individual. This year, was it this year?
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Yep.
That season when it came and went. You came 12th Victorian, but I want to touch on you were doing PhD stuff. That's a lot of that's a lot on your plate, and then trying to add in, high level CrossFit, which takes a lot of time as well. How did you manage to juggle that? Did you manage to juggle that?
No, I'm glad you said that. I was about to say I barely managed.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had and I started the year with a back injury as well. So I came in from from scratch. So I had about 3 months from the start of the Open, scraped through the Open, scraped through it quarterfinals, and then had a couple of months to train Victorian, and I had breakdowns constantly. And I was just like, man, I don't feel ready. Kind of pulled it together just in time, but I definitely it wasn't my best before. I wasn't feeling at my prime at Torium, which is really hard for me because I'm so competitive and such a perfectionist that I hated feeling that way. Like, I also didn't want to make excuses and stuff. And then I knew that as soon as I came home from Torian, I had 3 months until my submission date for my thesis. So I barely trained. And then submitted my thesis on the Friday, and then the Down Under qualifiers started on the Monday. And I was like, that's not okay. So Down Under, I did not qualify for, but that is fine. Yeah. It's kind of understandable. But definitely before Torian, balancing PhD and training was so hard because training is a different type of tired to working tired. And it's very hard to be training tired and working tired together. One or the other you can kind of manage, but both is it's really tough.
And to still come 12th after all that is pretty amazing.
Sheer determination, that's all it was.
That's pretty cool. And you and Danny 11 and 12, it's pretty cool seeing the Kiwis.
Yes. It was cool. She's amazing. She's a really cool athlete. So that was cool to be right by her.
100%.
We've been talking heaps about how stacked the Oceania field is, and with yourself and Danny, both, she had a back injury as well. So, and you were doing your PhD. I can't imagine. Is the games or Torian, is that a priority for next year at all?
Well, yes. I mean, making the games as an individual is a few years ago that could have been possible if I had really. I don't know, I feel like I peaked during COVID and during the years that we went team. So maybe a few years ago, the games would have been actually possible. But now you have to be a full-time athlete. You have to be 20 to 30 hours in the gym a week. And I just don't have that anymore. I've got a career to move on with and stuff. So I think I've been nearly 10 years in the sport. I'm getting old. Went from rookie to veteran real quick. So I think next year I really want to give it one good last go. Because I don't want to just fizzle out, I want to make sure that if I'm competing at that level that I'm giving it 100%. So I think I've kind of penciled in one last good go at Torian next year. I'm not expecting to make it to the games, but I would like to at least be in the top 10. And hopefully have a better run up than I did this season.
Well, I mean, you're not, no more PhD studies. Should free up a bit of time. Talking on the field there, we've brought it up on a lot of podcasts. What's your thoughts on, because it's such a stacked region, last year or last Torian, we took away Cara Saunders and Tia-Clair Toomey, who are arguably, two of the top guns in our region. Okay. And then you still look at the field and you're like, it's anyone's game. It's so stacked. Next Torian, well, Tia's coming back. We don't know about Cara. I imagine she'll come back. What's your thoughts on the 3 qualifying spots? It's just a bit of a joke at this stage,
Yeah, it's been a bit of a joke for a few years. And I know that there is better athletes. There's more high level athletes in America, not necessarily better, because obviously we have Tia. But they're giving athletes opportunity in the first place is what makes them better. If we had 4 or 5 game spots for the last few years, then we would have 4 or 5 athletes that were able to compete at that level. But because they only give us 3, only 3 get experience every year, and Tia's got enough experience, so I think it has been a joke for a few years because we are such a strong region, and we have had girls that will get to the games and do so much better than those bottom end ones in America. I mean, they're still fit obviously, but I think we even saw it this year, in the quarterfinal. I can't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure Maddie Sturt, who didn't qualify for the games, did better overall than like, I don't know, 10 girls who
Yeah.
qualified for America or something. Like, I think I did better in semi-finals than Michelle Besnet, who qualified for the games through Africa, for example. So, I mean, I know the region still needs representation from Africa, but yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's so American focused that it's really, really frustrating. And I think that's been one of the hardest parts of the sport is like, a lot of people are like, well, what's the point kind of thing.
And you're 100% right. Like, I hear it all the time. Like, oh, how does Oceania do so well at the games? Because you give us 3 spots and we've got fucking amazing athletes. Like, it's not, it's not fucking rocket science. It's not rocket science.
This is a soft spot.
I get pretty passionate about this stuff. Yeah.
It's a sore spot for me. Yeah, definitely. And like, last maybe like 4 years, it's just been so frustrating because we know we're right there. Like, if they'd had 5 spots in the past 4 years, like I feel confident enough in my abilities that I would have made it to the games, which is so frustrating. And it's frustrating watching people that you beat in the Open or you beat in quarterfinals or the random systems that they've had for ranking people across the world the last few years, and then seeing them at the games and you're like, I'm better than them, but I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I'm getting old.
They act surprised that Bailey Martin's like, oh, he's a rookie, he's doing so well. It's like, no, it's not surprising. I mean,
no,
you just have 8 million spots to fucking go to the games with. We've got 3, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And they just tunnel vision on Americans. Like, I remember when we were on a team and we called the guy he was really nice, the American guy who was like the commentator, whatever. And he's like, so what's the weather like in Australia? And we're like,
close.
No, we're in New Zealand and we're in Christchurch and it's bloody freezing. Like, we're about to come over to the games where it's super hot. And he's like, what do you mean? I thought it was hot in Australia. And we're like, we're not Australia, like no idea that we even exist.
Oh, it's so funny, man. Yeah. Even like listening to other podcasts of like, I don't know, American and European ones, and they get Kiwis on, and you're just like, man, shut up. Like, you don't get it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on. One thing I do remember is back when we spoke with Danny, actually, we sort of asked her on how she feels the sport of CrossFit has influenced her life. And she did mention actually something that you had said about body image. I just wanted to get your thoughts around body image and how CrossFit has helped change your perspective on that.
Yeah, this is massive for me. And it's really exciting, actually. Side note, tomorrow night I'm going to speak at my high school sports prize giving. And it is like my life dream to go back, because when I was at high school, like, it wasn't cool to be strong. Like, I remember skipping the push-ups in netball training because I didn't want my arms to get big. Even though I look back and I was like skinny as back then. But like, it was like real shame to be like strong or muscly, and the boys, like, because we did so many sports, we were strong anyway, and the boys would call me like Mandolin or Maddy, which back then I was like, oh, just like broke me. But now I'm like, hell yeah, I'm a Maddy kind of thing. But but back then, it, like, by the time I got to 7th form, I had an eating disorder. Like, I had so much pressure on myself for all aspects of my life, played all these different sports, was supposed to look a certain way, but I just loved exercising, but I wasn't skinny enough, or whatever it was. And so for about 3 years I dealt fairly seriously, not seriously, but like, I mean, it's all serious in your head, with the eating disorder. And just like, any time I got sad about my life, about my body, I'd go for like a 2-hour run. Like, I would never be satisfied until I was exhausted or sweating, or like, I just had this, and I'd like starve myself, or I'd take laxatives, whatever, like 8 at a time, just because I'd be like, the less weight I am, the better. And it was like such a painful space to be in, to hate your own body. And I just wish I had a role model to tell me that it was beautiful to be whatever size you wanted. It was beautiful to chase sports and get muscles. And like, I'm so excited tomorrow night to go to the sports prize giving, and I'm going to wear like a singlet so that my shoulders are out,
Yeah, fuck
that
yeah.
I can tell these, these 15-year-olds the words that I needed to hear when I was that age, which is like, your body is incredible because it can do incredible things. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's about what you can do with your life, kind of thing. So I wish I had that representation when I was younger, and I'm really excited to be part of a sport that has that representation, like to be looked up to because your arms are big, like for people to be like, oosh, look at your quads, kind of thing. Like, that's awesome. That is so cool. That's what our rangatahi need, that's what our wahine need, because so much of our lives we're just told you have to look a certain way, you have to fit in these pants, you've got to do this and look like that. And this is a sport that tells you that you can look however the fuck you want, and you're doing a sport that you love, you're doing epic things, you're squat cleaning this, you're ring muscle upping this, and that is all, like, that's what counts. So and that is a very long answer to your question, but
that's perfect.
I owe CrossFit for pulling me out of that eating disorder. And I think I always have anxiety about my body. Like, I always have been concerned about what I look like, but now I have a much more healthy perspective on that.
I love that. I love the passion behind your message, and I'm going to rest the camera. I'm turning off here, but yes, similar thing growing up. I battled with my body image, but I was the other end of the spectrum. I was quite a big kid, and it's a vicious cycle to get in, especially because I developed the habit of, I would then feel shit about myself, and then you eat, which is just feeding the monster. So I love that I can feel the passion in your voice through the screen, and that's a fucking awesome message to give to the kids of New Zealand. And just really appreciate what you just had to say, to be honest.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. Yeah,
like, and I just adding on that, you are that role model, and it's fucking cool to see. I really appreciate like what you're doing there. I work a lot with teenagers in CrossFit. I started a teen program maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I've had some good success. I've had some high level, like I'm not taking anything away from what they've achieved now, but like Abby Osborne started at my gym. Had a young girl named Stella started at my gym, and Abby's obviously still crushing it. Stella has since, I think she's going to the Air Force soon, which is really cool for her. But they both have been to Torian, that kind of stuff, and they have always looked up to the likes of you, Marnie, across the ditch, like Tia, and just all the girls in the sport. And it is really cool. And I'm currently dealing with, teenagers now, that the amount of anxiety coming from their outside the gym situations, whether it's school, family life, friends, that kind of stuff, especially social media. It is really important that the message that you're putting out there gets to them. So, like, actually fucking thank you for doing that kind of stuff, because it is really tough.
Yeah.
Like, we got
I would love to spend more time with the youths now that I'm not one. And just really share that message, because I dealt with all that and I didn't even have social media. We didn't get internet phones until I was in my 20s, which makes me sound so old.
I think I'm older than you. I think it's so good.
But I cannot even imagine what it would be like to try and navigate your teen years, try to figure out who you are with social media. Like, I feel so sorry for them that they have to just wade through the shit that's online in order to find who they are and what they love, and learn about their body. It's just I feel so bad for them, but I mean, that's why we need to be there for them, right? Just to show them what reality is.
It is hard. I've been told, you put, like, do you think you put too much pressure on yourself? It's like, well, fucking no, because I am able to go home and switch off. Like, I've got a partner that's great. I love my home life and that kind of stuff. But when I'm with them, I will give 100% of my time so that they can hopefully go down a better path than what, you know, a lot of us growing up. I had a different situation, but it's still something that I feel strongly about, you know, helping these youths use CrossFit in a positive way to help impact them later in life. You know, they're not all going to be elite CrossFit athletes, but it's a good way to put them in a good mindset into how they feel, so that then they're not having to think about, fuck, what do I look like? They can think about what they're doing in the day, or, you know, what they want to achieve, which is far more important than worrying about what you look like, you know, wearing a singlet. But it's tough. It's fucking tough, man.
Yeah.
But the narrative is slowly changing. I do a lot of media in the CrossFit space over here, and it's awesome, like sending people their photos and stuff, or even people at the local gyms, and you know, they come up to me, they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, look, my shoulders look jacked, or, you know, watch me lift fucking 120. It's the narrative is shifting, and it's definitely, we're heading in the right direction thanks to people like you.
Hard up.
Oh, thanks.
All right, should we lighten the mood a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went pretty deep.
Oh, good.
Good. You gotta go deep.
Yeah, how good. So yeah, what's the rest of the year looking like for you in the CrossFit world? You didn't qualify for Down Under, but there's a couple of big New Zealand comps coming up. We've got, you know, Nats and NZ Champs. Are we doing any of them?
Yep, I'm doing both.
Nice.
And NZ Champs is in a month, and I am feeling very unprepared. And I've been on the edge of pulling out of both of them, because the thought of going to these competitions and like being like, oh yeah, but I haven't been training properly, or I'm not at my best, like I just hate that. And like, I don't know. I know it's all in my own head, but I feel like I go to these comps and people are like, oh, what happened to Madeline? She used to be good, and now she's like, you know, like I just, the idea of that just
come see me in 3 months.
It's all my ego. So I'm gonna suck it up, and I'm gonna do comps the best I can, because I love competing. Like that is, that's the bottom line, really. I love competing, and I love hanging out with everyone at competitions. It's like a big reunion of all your friends. And so yes, those are the two comps coming up for me, so I'm really excited for them. And then it's just big prep for Torian next year, I guess.
So good. That's good that you said that, you know, you're thinking about pulling out, but you're doing it because you love it. Big message that everyone's come on here said, don't do it to put the pressure on yourself to be good. Do it because you love it, and then put the pressure on. You know what I mean? So it's good you said that, because CrossFit is fun, team. Sorry to cut you off there, bro.
Now, are we? So for Nats, is that Indie Nats, or are we going to see you at Team Nats this weekend?
So we did not put in a team this year. We were all kind of all over the place. Ben's been in Madrid, Bailey and Marnie obviously moved to Australia, and so we just and I was doing my PhD, so we didn't quite really have the get ourselves together to go to Team Nats. But and definitely Indie. That's where I started, and that's like Gilly always put us on a good comp, a hard competition, so gotta mentally prepare for the pain, but it's gonna it'll be fun.
Just looking at the schedule for this weekend at Team Nats, it's huge, it's massive, so Indie Nats is gonna be something special this year, I imagine. How good. Did you guys get a team in for Champs at all, or are you just going Indie for that too?
Yes, actually, I've got a team from the shed going. Me, Gio, who's my training partner / coach, and then 2 guys from our gym, BJ and Eddie, who are pretty strong dudes. So it's going to be a fun weekend. We called ourselves Team Rehab because all of us are currently rehabbing injuries. We're all old.
Fuck, sweet. No doubt you're still coming to throw down. It's going to be good. Be a show.
I always be like, you know, I don't feel like I'm at my peak, so I'm just gonna go have fun at this competition. And then you get to the competition, I'm like, let's crush that.
Good.
You just can't help it, eh?
One of the girls from my gym, she this is her first real year going elite. She's a cop here, and she's had a few injuries, a couple of surgeries, but this year she's like been on a mission, and like
Cool.
all the qualifiers, she was like, "Where's Danny? Where's Maddy?" You know, like she has never met you guys, but she's like, "All right, they're her goal." You know, but you guys are her goal,
Yeah.
so she's
Oh
turning up.
no.
Yeah. So
I would have been a very low bar this year.
nah, not at all. I think you still beat her. Sorry, Greer.
I
I'm my coach. I'm like, we're gonna work hard, Greer.
Yeah.
But it's So you got a target on your back from her. So.
Good. All right. Yeah, no, I love that. I think
Yeah.
having someone on the leaderboard that you just like, you can like have never even met them,
Yeah.
but then you just like hunt them down on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
I remember that I don't know if you know them, the Palmer sisters, Kirsten and Rachel. They used to be my leaderboard foes, and then I met them in person. I was like, oh my gosh, they're lovely.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
But you know, that'd be great. But they're just those people that you would hunt down. So yeah, it's good. I hope Greg keeps chasing and that she catches me one day. So I look forward to it.
I'm gonna clip that.
She's gonna clip
that. I started CrossFit in 2013. I've been chasing this Rich Froning guy for a while now.
You'll get him one day, bro.
Plus, you got him.
Like I'm 2 years away from that. Oh dear.
We've sort of already touched on it briefly, obviously with your PhD and your speaking tomorrow night. But is there any other ambitions outside of CrossFit for you?
Yeah, I guess my career now. So I never thought that career ambitions would be as exciting as CrossFit ambitions, probably because they don't look as cool on social media. But yeah, no, I really have big ambitions for taking my research further, making some real change in our food system. Like I'm just, ready to, I mean, obviously with the government change, I don't know if people listening, they get my eyes rolling, and just really like, this is the time to fight for Indigenous rights. We've got 3 years to educate people as to why everyone should vote either Greens, Labour or Māori Party, but there's just a real fight for Indigenous rights in terms of the food security space for me, and I'm really looking forward to kind of taking up that challenge. So I think the next year, while I'm still training, one more year of training, I'm just going to be preparing myself to launch into career goals and ambitions for the rest of my life, I guess.
Leading the charge. I can definitely, again, the passion is just powerful. I wish I was more in touch with my kaupapa Māori side, but where did that dream sort of originate for you?
Well, I was a kind of a late bloomer to my identity. A lot of us who are mixed race, I guess you could say, do have we're all on this identity journey. Well, everyone is really. And so in high school, I started to learn te reo. And then at university, I was like, look, I know that I'm Māori, but I don't, I feel so uncomfortable in Māori situations, kind of speak a bit of Māori, but I don't know tikanga, all that stuff. And then at uni, I kind of started to go to the Māori group and just pretended that I fitted in, and then just, picked things up, hanging around the ones who really knew their stuff. And it's just been a journey. Just a few years, maybe 5 years ago, Mum and I went down to our marae. We just turned up to this random rural community on the East Coast, and we're like, kia ora, our koro's surname was Rangihuna, do you know anyone? And they were like, yeah, go down this road, second house on the left, turn up to Nanny B's house. Turned up to Nanny B, and she was my mum's auntie, and from there we just we had a whānau, instantly, ready-made whānau, and just from there it's just a connection journey, and it's super uncomfortable and it's super hard, but it is so worth it. And it's not just for Māori, we're seeing that our country is becoming so much more bicultural. I believe in my lifetime that speaking te reo is going to be so normal, and it's going to be so celebrated, because it's going to mean that Aotearoa has this wonderful, beautiful, mixed culture of Māori and Kiwi, Pākehā. Pākehā is not a negative term. And I think everyone's just, got to be excited to get on that waka, because that's the way that we're headed. And if, if we don't embrace it, you're going to be left behind. So I just encourage everyone to get on the identity journey, really, whether they're Māori or not. Our nation's got our own identity. So yeah. Sorry, I'm waffling, but I get really excited. You're asking me all the topics I get excited about.
It's almost like we did our research.
I could just feel the passion, and it's something I'm dealing with on my own. So I suppose that was more for me, but no, I appreciate that.
It's all new to me. Like, I was born in England, moved over here early 2000s. By both white parents. My dad was from Gisborne, but no Māori connections. It's only been the last maybe 4 or 5 years that I've started to take more interest in it, and I feel guilty that I never really, because I have grown up here since 2002. It's not like I've been here longer now than I ever was in England. But even seeing the shift, my dad obviously grew up here in the 70s and 80s when Māori language was banned and being taught in schools and that kind of thing. Even seeing his shift, he was he wasn't too keen on it because that was his upbringing, but now he's slowly been like, oh no, actually it was pretty ratchet. And he was even he's like, I wish I actually had a bit more teaching when I was at school, when he was at school. The landscape's changed massively in the last 40 years. So if you look forward to the next 40 years, it's pretty exciting. Yeah,
for sure. I'd firstly say, don't feel guilty. I grew up in a very among Māori, but not feeling Māori myself, and both Māori and Pākehā, and I think it's really important that we don't feel guilt for our Pākehā side, because it's all about what decisions we make now for the future. So I think the fact that you are starting your journey, that's awesome. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. I wouldn't feel guilty because, same thing. I'm Māori. I have a Māori family, and even I am so out of touch. So, and I'm sure a lot of people are. So, yeah.
It was kind of culture shock. I remember coming over here and going from God Save the Queen at school to learning a national anthem that had two languages. I was like, oh yeah, it was buzzy, but that's really cool. Really cool. Anyway, you got anything to finish on?
No, I think we're pretty. This has been a really good chat.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this chat.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, we're trying to get to as many people as we can. But
cool.
We also work full time as well. So this is a sort of massive passion project. So,
cool.
Anyway, before we move,
here we go. Oh, sorry. No, you carry on. I thought we were going to the workout.
Oh, we are.
Oh,
before we end this episode. Avid listeners out there will know that I don't actually want to get your workout. I'm over it. I don't know what you say. I may have heard. She might not be giving us the one I heard. But anyway, we like to get our athletes to come on here and give us a workout so that we can suffer as well in the gym and hopefully get the community involved. So, Madeline Shelling, what do you got for us? What are we thinking?
Well, one of the most my career-defining workouts was the nationals when I came second to Māori. So I just moved back from the UK and I went into nationals and I came second, and I completely surprised myself. And the final workout was one that was revealed by Gilly, and I completely freaked. And then I realized that actually I don't mind doing thrusters. By the end of the workout, thrusters are one of my movements that I'm not bad at. So they still suck, but because when you're not bad at something, you kind of like them more. So I'm going to give you guys Kalsu, but I can't remember how many reps it was, but I believe it was 6 pistols instead of 5 burpees.
Okay, 3 each leg, alternating. Yeah.
Every minute. I think so, or maybe it was 4. I can't remember. I can double check that and get back to you. So Kalsu is 100 thrusters per time, but every minute on the minute, including the first minute, will be pistols.
6 pistols. Okay, yeah. That will speed it up a little bit, surely. But your legs will be fried.
Yes, I remember not being able to walk for a few days.
Okay. Scaling option for that, goblet squats. instead of a pistol?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Some shrimp squats, some one-legged. The one-legged is what like will get your glutes
Right.
firing.
Okay, yeah. We can go assisted pistol even to a box or something like that.
Hang on a minute. Didn't you
Yeah.
make me do this in the gym once? Me and Tamaho.
So I did a version of Kalsu, which was obviously just normal. Kalsu was 100 thrusters every minute on the minute, 5 burpees, and then you rest 5 minutes, and then you reverse it. 100 burpees every minute on the minute, 5 thrusters. Gnarly, man.
That's right.
It was some of my greatest coaching, I'll tell you. But that's a good workout.
Oh man.
I just, before you go, you said you were good at thrusters. It reminded me of a games scenario. The wall walk thruster team workout in the Coliseum. First of all, what a spectacle, just even on TV. But how was that? Like, how hot was it? What was the energy like? It was electric through the TV. How was that?
Yeah, that would be one of my, of all the workouts we did at games, probably one of the favorites, both years combined. It was just so epic. Like the crowd was just insane. Like I couldn't even feel the weight on the bar. Like it was amazing. And you know that moment in the wall walk when you hit the floor and it's just you and your face next to the ground and you hear yourself breathe.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a real zone in moment. And I just remember just being like, but I couldn't even feel it. Like the adrenaline was just pumping. Like it was so cool.
Yeah.
And like I think it was like Rich was like right there. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was really cool. Obviously Rich's team were putting on a push to win that heat, but then like you guys were just storming through as well. Like would have been one of your better finishes from the weekend. You guys did amazing that year. But
I think it was.
Yeah.
No, don't worry. I was going to say the first pair that went through, Marnie was like not even tough. It was just quite hard for the guy. So it was, guy had been able to go a little bit faster in the wall walks. Like we would have like crushed that workout. But so that was, no, that was epic. That was really, really cool. Clint did amazing in that. Like I remember just yelling at him. and he just did so good. Yeah, it was great.
And that was where we saw your technique on the wall walk. I think even the commentators were like, oh, look at this amazing technique, and just jumping up. I was like,
I think they compared me to Brent Bukowski or something, and I was like, calm down. But I just figured that out, and it just works for me. So
it's just really cool when like New Zealanders get screen time. I guess we're like that, eh? Like anything, it could be in the local newspaper. We're like, like like it's just cool, man.
I know her.
I know her.
Yeah.
Hey,
look, cousin.
We've probably taken up enough of your time. But anything you want to shout out before you go? Any sponsor plugs? Any shout out to mum or dad? The floor's yours. Go for gold.
Oh, well, you know, now that I'm a grandma of the sport in New Zealand, been here for 10 years. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has ever supported me over the 10 years, whether you've been a sponsor, like I got incredible sponsors at Fortify Gear, Sugar Training, Fit Aid, several others that have been amazing. Blue Dinosaur Bars, amazing over the years. I just wouldn't not have done it without anyone. Like the Instagram messages I get at comps, like people coming and talking to me, and I just love all of it. Like I have just enjoyed it so much, and it's because of this community that we have in Aotearoa. And I am just so grateful and thankful for everyone who has been behind me. Like I might have been the athlete that's out there on the floor, but there's a whole whānau, a whole army behind me that has got me there. I'm just grateful. So thank you for this opportunity to share my kōrero. And really sorry for waffling, but I talk too much.
No, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate the chat. It's super insightful, and really appreciate for what you're doing for Aotearoa and the community. So just a huge thank you to you for coming on and sharing with us.
Thanks, 100%. Guys. Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, and you. We'll see you at Nats and Champs anyway. We'll come say hi.
Yeah,
but
sure. Yes.
How good. Sweet as. Again, thank you so much for what you're doing, and enjoy the rest of your day, and all the best for your comps coming up.
Will do. You too.
Beauty.
Take care.
All right. See you, mate.